Hey, hello everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the webinar of this week. Today, I would like to talk about the two career projects you need to submit, LinkedIn and GitHub profile. You have access to the amazing classes by Udacity to get deep into the best practices, and I will share with you some tips about what the reviewers are looking for in detail for these projects. So I will start. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat that is at the right side of your screen, and I will take some time at the end to answer. You can also send some direct messages to me anytime if you have questions about it. Okay, so let's get started. I will share my screen. Okay. Excellent. So let's get started. First, what is about the career services at Udacity? Well, Udacity Career Services have the goal to help students to get ready to get the attention of recruiters and hiring managers. Between the services, you can get a one-on-one call with a career coach who can even help you to mock a technical interview. So if you are interested, you can take a look of the Udacity Career Services and know a little more about it. Also, you can get services related to improve your profile. For example, get a professional review of your resume, LinkedIn, or GitHub profile. In this course, have been included the last two. So, for instance, you need to submit your LinkedIn profile and your GitHub profile. And don't be scared. It is really helpful. I have submitted my profiles before, and I can tell you by my experience that it is a great experience. Let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn. People in the software industry pay special attention to LinkedIn to connect with professionals. So even if you think that is like something that is not very popular right now, it is. It is very popular. It has been popular since years ago, and people are still using it like more and more over time. During your review, one of the things the reviewer will pay special attention to is your picture. Be sure you have a picture with high quality, and please don't be afraid to smile and dress well. The background of your photo must not be distracting. Crop around the head and shoulders. You don't need to hire a professional photographer to get a good picture. You can take it even with your cell phone, but be sure that it's a good picture, something you are comfortable with and you look comfortable with. Avoid always to set a cartoon or a logo as your profile picture. Also, it is not a good idea to leave this section empty. People sometimes avoid to accept connections from individuals that don't even show their face. So it is very important for you to be comfortable with the picture, but do your best in this section. Another important thing to consider is your summary. This is your elevator pitch. Be sure to describe your work experience, knowledge, and show your passion. Usually 1 to 4 sentences is a good summary because Anything more is unlikely to be read. If you want to know more about how to write a good summary or even see some examples, I would recommend you to take a look of this nice article. And here's a nice tip somebody gave me yesterday. It is good. It is a really good practice to read it aloud. Try to say this summary, this speech, to somebody else, or to a plant, or to your pet. You need to be comfortable talking about yourself and talking about what is your passion. So try to do your best in this section, and see some examples as well. Read this article, ask a friend. Now, in the sphere extension, include at least 3 jobs, and always avoid negative language. For example, avoid the words part-time or unpaid. Experience is experience, and you don't need to provide details about if you are being paid or not. The first thing for you to remember is to validate yourself, to respect your own work. Don't forget to include the start and the end dates, month and year. I have made the mistake before to leave one experience with just the year and another's with month and year, and it doesn't look very consistent. So it's very important for you to include both month and year and location. Be consistent with your format. Your profile will be easier to read. For the education section, list in reverse chronological order your education experiences. Don't forget to include this nano degree in this section or in certification, but not both. Recruiters want to see the initiative to learn relative or relevant skills. Any education really is important. It's experience you have earned. Even if you have some background in a different area, in a different field, it is important for you to list your education. Talking about the skills, this section is one of the most important ones. And there are a couple of things to avoid. Do not include too many skills. That could make you look like you are not focusing on a particular technology. Include the most relevant skills for the kind of position you are looking for, no more. Even if you have more skills, that's great. You can talk about that later with the recruiters or during your interview, perhaps. But the thing to remember here is that you need to emphasize the skills that you are going to use in the position you are looking for. Also, do not include common soft skills like communication or attention to detail. Instead, talk about leadership or how you can bring some of your other skills you learn even in a different field, and you can use them in the new position you're looking for. At the end, make a general review and be sure that you are not including negative language. Review that you use present tense for current duties, past tense for prior duties and accomplishments. And very important, you don't have incomplete sections in your profile. So be sure that you have covered all the information in all the sections that you are required to: experience, education, you have a picture, you have a summary, you have your skills, you have certifications, perhaps another achievements and projects. This is very important. Finally, review the spelling and grammar. Here's a quote from the checklist provided by Udacity. When there are errors, such as grammar or spelling mistakes, the reader's eye is instead focused on those design errors rather than the words in your profile. And it's true. It is easier to notice the errors over the words in your profile. So make a good review and avoid spelling and grammar. It is better for you to spend a little more time reviewing before you make your profile public than lose opportunities because simple spelling or grammar error. And well, it's not always simple. This and more tips are listed in the checklist and rubric of your project. I encourage you to complete the lesson that is part of your nano degree and go deep over all the content on it. I can say pretty much that the information in the checklist is what you need to be careful about. Everything that is listed here and all the tips that they are providing is pretty much what the reviewers will ask for. So the rubric, this is the same point. Here are the specifications, so be sure that you are completing all the criteria. Your profile is consistent. It has a summary, picture, a cover photo that is also a plus, a headline that is something that define what you are looking for, and you are not specifying more things that are not related. Articles, activities, groups, links, and education and experience. Okay, so I encourage you to do your best reviewing the checklist and the rubric. I think Udacity did a really good job providing these two documents, and you will be all set. Okay, now let's talk about GitHub, one of my favorites and terrifying topics. GitHub is one of the most popular platforms that host open source code projects and a variety of different programming languages. Many companies use GitHub and Git to keep track of the contributions and versions of their projects. That's one of the reasons you may have a GitHub profile. Also, providing a GitHub profile will give you the opportunity to display your projects. In my personal experience as a freelancer, GitHub is one of the profiles I used most because it gave me the opportunity to display my portfolio, to display what I know, what I am able to solve and to do. So I encourage you to go deep in Git and GitHub so you can master this area. Now, for your GitHub profile, the advice is to include a picture considering the same recommendations than LinkedIn. Smile, don't leave empty this section, and update a high quality picture. It's the same. Do not upload a cartoon or a logo. Don't leave this section empty. Also, include the location and your contact email. I know you have your LinkedIn profile where you are providing more in detail your background, but GitHub is also a very important profile to have, and I recommend for you to upload and maintain your picture and your location updated. Sorry. Other projects. Well, this is the most important part of GitHub. Include projects. Include at least 3 of your projects. You already have the single screen, Scorekeeper, and the quiz app. So you have at least 3 projects. Even if they are not related to Android, you can also include others. But for a start, I think you have 3 good projects. If you feel like that they are very simple projects, well, you can include more features. You can escalate them. You can make them a little more complex, and upload these projects in your GitHub profile. Be sure that the names and descriptions are meaningful, and always provide a README. A README where you describe what is the purpose of your projects, how this project will help others, and provide a list of steps that other developers can follow to install and try your projects, and also provide information about how others can contribute with you if possible. Now, let's see. A good README. It's a project that is named Farcos, and this is a nice example of a good README. In this README, the person is providing the information about the license, the basic structure, how is developed this project, if there are known issues, how to download it, contributors, acknowledgement, and well, maybe you have a little more basic projects. It doesn't matter. It is a good practice. It's the best practice to set a really good README, something that can help others to understand what is your apportation. Okay. About commits. One thing recruiters will notice or would not is your commits. That means your contributions to your projects or others' projects. Try to make a small commits, but meaningful. Avoid making commits that include many unrelated things. And I recommend you to use the Udacity Git commit message style to make everything consistent and professional. This is something I didn't know in the past, and when I started using Git, I used to just, put something really unrelated to what I was doing, and it's really not the best practice. The best practice is to provide information about what you are apporting. So in this guide, you will find a really nice structure. So the idea is to provide the type of where you need to include what is the subject, a body, and a footer. Think about this like an email. When you are sending an email, you need to provide a subject, then your message, and then a message to say goodbye, right? Or thanks, or your name. So it's a little bit different, but here's an example. Like this is a picture. What is this about? And an explanation in detail about what you are fixing or what you are including in this part of your code. And then other issues related, or a simple following. Okay, so this is something you will need to remember. And maybe right now the kind of projects you are developing are kind of simple. They are complex, but of course it can be more complex in time. But it is the best practice for you to start making your commits as professional as you can. The commit graph. All the commits you are making are being tracked in the commit graph, which is one of the first things somebody will notice when visiting your profile. This graph shows how active you are in GitHub. That means how many contributors are you making per week. Every square represents a day of the week, and the color represents how many contributions have you made that day. No color means no contribution, or I mean the gray color means no contributions. Light green is like one contribution, and it can turn into dark green. It will be light green, medium green, and until dark green when you have many contributions in one single day. So the idea of one of the things recruiters notice is that if you don't have too many contributions, it's likely you don't have too much experience. And being active in GitHub, excuse me, is very important, especially for people who are transitioning into software development, or people who used to work in a different field. This is something very important to be careful with, as this is the way you can show your experience in the field. Even when you don't have experience working in a big company, you can show how you can code, and the kind of contributions and the quality of the contributions you are making. Someday, a recruiter told me that one of the things he used to do is to go to the GitHub profile of somebody and take a lot of time to work to navigate around and to see. The first thing is see the graph and how many squares and how many consecutive contributions you are making. So I would recommend for you to use your profile or to commit at least once per week. If you can do more, better, because this is the way you are showing your experience, your skills, your passion for software development. So this is something to consider for the future. And again, this and more tips are listed in the checklist and rubric of your project. You have access to the amazing free GitHub course in Udacity and the lesson to improve your profile. So I would recommend you to study all the content, to go deep, to challenge yourself, and don't give up. This is something that you will not develop from one day to another. It takes time, but it works. Okay, so continue learning. This concept can be a little challenging at the beginning, so be patient with yourself and don't give up. There are many resources online to help you out. I recommend to check the Git sheet to accelerate your learning process. You will find the common comments and their use easily. Let me see. Yes. As you can see, they are providing, and this is like the official document from GitHub Education. They are providing from the very beginning how to start, where you can start installing for different kind of operating systems, and the setup, how you can configuring your user information. Also, how you can initialize and clone repositories. Practically all the important commands are here. So I know for experience at the beginning, this can be overwhelming. You can see lots of commands and you don't know how to start. I don't know, maybe it's not your case. But in my case, it was a little bit overwhelming. So what I did is to go to this kind of resources to help myself a little bit, and it works, right? Somehow a summary of contents can help you that much. So I would recommend for you to take a look at this. I will leave, as always, the slides in the channel, and you can take a look at the resources I am providing. Okay, so that's all for now. I wanted to leave a little more time than usual so you can ask any questions you have, even if it is something technical with GitHub or some questions you have about your reviews, please let me know. So we've got to that. Okay. Okay, I don't see any questions, but I will wait a little bit. So maybe some of you had some questions. Please post your questions in the chat, on the right side of your screen, and let me know what you need to know so I can help you. Okay. While I am waiting, I will take advantage of the time to remember you. These kind of projects are not part of the technical part of Android. Of course, it is recommended for you to submit the projects. I think you have the option to say that you don't want the review, but I would recommend for you to take it. It is a great experience. If you feel like you are not ready to make public your LinkedIn profile, maybe after the review, you can configure your profile again to not be public, and maybe that will help you to develop little by little your profile. By experience, I can tell you this is something you will not have ready just in one day. You need to build your experience. You need to build your skills. So it can take a little more time, and it's okay. It's completely fine. As you are studying, as you are developing new projects, in time, all that experience will pay off. So be patient and show your passion. That's very important. Okay. Well, I don't see any questions. Please let me know in the channel if you think about something you would like to know. And I will be happy to help. Have a good day.